Imagine being so powerful that people made up a story about you having an extra finger just to make you look evil.
Anne Boleyn. She became queen, gave birth to a future ruler, and then got blamed for everything.
You're listening to Highness History, where the past is wild, weird, and not always fair. I'm Dot Matrix.
And I'm Algorithm. Today's story: how lies and fear took down one of the most famous queens in England.
Let's go back to the 1500s. King Henry VIII is married, but he's not happy. He wants a son and thinks his wife can't give him one.
Then he meets Anne Boleyn. She's smart, strong-willed, and says no when he tries to make her his girlfriend.
She wants a crown, not a fling. And Henry? He wants her so badly that he changes the rules of religion just to marry her.
That's right. He breaks from the Catholic Church, divorces his first wife, and marries Anne. It's a huge deal.
But here's the twist. Anne gives birth not to a son, but to a daughter, Elizabeth.
And people aren't happy. The king gets bored. His advisors turn on Anne. She's accused of being too bold, too clever, too different.
Some people whispered she used magic to charm the king, but the story about her having 6 fingers? That came much later, decades after she died.
Yep, that part wasn't real. It was invented by a man who hated her and wanted to make her look like a monster. There's no real proof Anne had 6 fingers. No one at court ever wrote about it while she was alive.
Not even the guy who chopped off her head mentioned it. You'd think he'd notice.
The story comes from a man named Nicholas Sander. He hated Anne and her daughter, Queen Elizabeth, and he wrote those lies about 50 years after Anne died. He was a small child when she was executed, probably never even saw her.
He said she had a goiter, an ugly tooth, and a creepy extra finger. Basically, he tried to make her sound like a monster.
And why? Because her daughter, Elizabeth I, was queen. And if Anne had been evil, then maybe Elizabeth didn't deserve the throne.
Guilty by association. Too bad for them. Elizabeth didn't just survive the lies. She ruled for 44 years, beat invaders, and became one of the strongest queens in history.
She proved that no smear campaign could erase the truth.
And that truth started with Anne.
Anne was put on trial. The charges? Adultery, treason, and even being too close with her own brother.
Shades of Lucrezia right there. All lies, but the court didn't care. They wanted her gone.
She was found guilty and sentenced to death. Henry even brought in a special swordsman from France to do it quickly.
Anne died at just 35 years old. But the lies didn't stop. The stories kept going for centuries.
But here's the truth. Anne was brave, clever, and changed history. And the lie about her 6th finger? Just that, a lie.
She didn't have 6 fingers. She had one daughter. And that daughter became one of the greatest queens England ever had.
So when someone says Anne Boleyn was a monster, tell them she was framed.
And that history, like gossip, can be very, very unfair.
This has been Heinous History. Don't forget to like, follow, and join us next time for another strange but true story.
And remember, just because something's written in a book doesn't mean it's true.